It is cold. It is definitely cold here in Cape Town, and you did tell me that Red Mountain was like a warm region, right? Like it's kind
It
of
is
like
very warm. Yeah, it's very warm, but we are unusually warm for this time of year. But these temperatures we have, and I mean when I say temperatures, I mean like it's 90 something today. It was like over 100 for the past few days, so it's crazy hot.
yeah. No wonder you were like, okay, well, I will trade with you during these hot temperature
Yeah.
times. Over 100, like, you can fry an egg on the sidewalk hot.
Oh yeah.
Have you
Oh
tried that
yeah.
with your kids yet?
No, you know what? I am more for kind of, hanging out inside or in the shade. Usually I try and do any sort of, being out in the vineyards extremely early in the morning before it gets too warm.
So you know what, you brought up a good point, and I don't know. There's so much that I want to say to you that I want to talk to you about. I don't even know where to start. And I talked to you beforehand. I was like, I'm gonna try to keep it short. I'm gonna try to keep it to like 45 minutes because I do have a class. I was gonna say at 3, but that's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm calling in from Cape Town, South Africa, everyone, and it is 2 o'clock in the morning. And okay, so Shay. First of all, can you just catch me up on your life, on your business? Tell me what's been going on because last time we actually talked, it was like the middle of, no, at the very beginning of like COVID. It was like the height of COVID. Everybody was locked at home. Wine sales were pretty booming. It was the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement, which also boosted Black wine sales, which was amazing. But what's been going on since then?
Gosh, well, since we were completely closed except for online sales and curbside pickup, and since the last event that you did, we were open up, then we had to close up, then kind of open again, and so a lot has happened. We were able to bottle our newest vintage, which is 2019. So that just happened a couple months ago. And so that wine's in bottle, actually, no, a month ago. So that wine's in bottle now. We were able to expand outdoor seating on our patio. And so that was fun too, because our taste room is like right next to our vineyard. And being that we could, we were getting to the spring and the summer here, it was just really nice to expand outdoor seating. And then we released a couple new wines, a Cabernet Sauvignon and a 100% Petit Verdot. So so those are the things that, well, since I talked to you, we had harvest. I mean, this was we harvested the 2020 wine grapes, made some more sachet rosé, uh, released that. Oh my gosh, yeah. So things have been happening. Things have been happening.
It's been a very busy year for you, which is great. And I'm glad to hear that things have been great. I can't wait to come back to the States so that I can taste the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Petit Verdot. Sounds super amazing. Isn't Washington State known for their Cabernet Sauvignon though? Like, isn't that one, or is it the
Yes.
Merlot, or which one is it?
No, well, it's both and all of that and more. So I think Cabernet Sauvignon probably is because we make such great cabs, and plus Cab is the most widely grown red wine variety, not only in Washington State but also on Red Mountain. And so we do make quite a lot of Cab here and Cab-based blends. Um, but Merlot's rock here, Syrah's amazing. Our Petit Verdot, outstanding. So that's
Yeah.
the thing that, it's kind of hard to pinpoint when it comes to Washington wines. I'll specifically talk red wine since that's primarily what we focus on and what I'm more familiar with. But we just rock at so many, and even just, being in the industry, getting the opportunity to try different wines. Like I had a Rockstar Grenache not too long ago. And so, I mean, who would ever think of Grenache from Washington State? But you have these amazingly talented winemakers that just know how to work with the fruit here, and growers who just know how to grow amazing fruit and what to grow here. And we just have a lot of amazing varieties. Over 70 varieties are grown here. So
It
a
sounds
lot
so
of them are doing well.
exciting for wine. And I think that's
Yeah.
it's like not a region that people usually think about when they think about planning wine trips. But the way you talk about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be one of the first wine trips that I plan when I hit the States. I can't wait.
You definitely will. I think that we will rock your world with what we have to offer in Washington. And good luck trying to pick where to. We have 19 AVAs now, and some of the wine regions are kind of touristy areas where there are tasting rooms there, and some of them don't have as many tasting rooms. So start with Red Mountain, and then I'll give you some recommendations on where else to go.
That sounds like a good start. And you know what though? I love tasting in the tasting rooms, especially like if I'm with a big group. But sometimes if it's just me and a couple of friends, I love places where I can go and I could just call the wine farm and say, hey, listen, you know what? I want to come by for a tasting, and there's no tasting room, and I'm literally tasting in the cellar with the winemaker or with the owner. Like that's my favorite experience.
Oh
But
yeah.
I love to have both. So, I love to have like a combination of both. Um, the tasting room. So you expanded the tasting room. Now you guys have this lovely patio that just overlooks or sits on the vineyards. I don't know how you describe that, but it sounds amazing. Are you seeing a lot of foot traffic these days, like most recently?
Yeah, we are. Normally it's like busy on Saturdays and Sundays, but today we had a busy tasting room, and it's Tuesday, and so I think folks are really discovering the Tri-Cities and discovering Red Mountain, and so we're getting travelers that have a little more flexibility with work, and they're coming out during the week as well. So foot traffic is definitely picking up.
That is so awesome. People are getting turned up on a Tuesday. Okay. I love that. I love that remote work life.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the great thing too about like COVID was terrible. COVID is terrible. COVID is probably one of the worst things that's happened to the world. But at the same time, some of the positive things that have come out of COVID is the ability for people to work from home and then really have like work-life balance. So you literally could wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, work until 2, and then say, you know what, I'm just gonna go wine tasting for the rest of the day.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
one
exactly.
that's one of the things that I love about COVID. And then also, we've been able to connect people from around the world virtually. It's not the same as connecting in person, but still, like I'll host these wine tastings, and sometimes I'll have people from Canada, from Paris, just like people all over the world. Then they get to know each other. Next thing you know, they're talking offline and making plans to visit each other when the world opens up. So there's
Yeah.
definitely some silver lining.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's for sure.
What about these designs? So I can't help but I just keep staring behind you and I see these beautiful
Oh,
women in these amazing dresses. I'm like, I need that dress with that high split. Like, beautiful. Do you have any new designs? Obviously, the Cabernet Sauvignon, I would imagine that's a new design.
well, so what you see behind me is the design for all the red wines that I make under the sachet label. So I've made a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I make a Syrah under the sachet label. And so the gold dress is the label for that. This one is the label for the rosé, which you've had.
Hmm.
So the design is a little different, but for any rosé that I make, that will be the label on the bottles, the rosé one. But yeah.
I love it. She is fierce. All right.
Yes.
Just in case you're just now tuning in, I am talking to Shay from Sachet and from Frigette Winery. And we are just talking about Wine Over Oceans. We can't wait. I can't wait for Wine Over Oceans. I'm looking forward to it. It's a 3-day wine festival that's online. We have tickets on sale right now. If you go to zuriwine.com, that's ZURIWINE.com, you can buy tickets for the festival. Um, but let's see what else. So, like, what intrigues you most about a virtual wine festival?
Well, the thing about it, I know you had referenced like it's very different from face to face, and I totally agree with that. But it gives so many more people the opportunity to tune in and get to be a part of this. It's so much more accessible to folks, and I mean, like you said, you just have a much greater reach, and that's what I love. To try and plan to, some of the winemakers that I've met at your events, to plan to travel and get to see them, maybe a little more challenging than just say, hey, it's on this particular date. You can do this from your living room. You can purchase the wines and have them shipped to you, and just enjoy and still get to hear the winemakers and get to ask questions. that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and I think that that's important too, because back in the old days, you'd have to plan a trip to Europe, you'd have to plan a trip to South Africa or wherever in America, plan a trip to New York or to Florida, take your wine cross country with yourself, and that could get expensive. And then do a tasting, whereas virtually you can ship people wine, and then you can jump on a call. And sometimes I think people like me and you, our personalities come through. So sometimes I feel like people really think that I'm sitting in their living room. Like when they send me an email or a text message, they talk like we're best friends. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I love that they feel that way, but it's very weird how you can build these relationships online.
Yeah,
We're excited.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I love that too. I do love it's almost like when you have folks that have like they meet online and they feel like they know each other, or like it's with any of these platforms. When you follow someone on Facebook or follow a company, and you really do get the inside scoop on them, and it is like it kind of feels like them. So I think that with the connections we've been able to make via Zoom and with some of these digital platforms, that has been really neat for the wine industry. I mean, I've learned more in the past year about about different wine regions and other winemakers than I had than before. Because don't get me wrong, I think when we are open back up and folks are comfortable with travel, there's nothing like having that experience in a wine region and meeting someone face to face. And in the meantime, instead of going to maybe 3 wine regions a year, virtually travel to 12 wine regions a year by having a combination of like the live and the virtual. Don't let, the virtual shouldn't go away once we get back to traveling, because, these opportunities here to me have just been priceless.
And I agree too. I've had a good year of like virtual tastings and meet and greets with wineries. So I'm super excited about. I hope that virtual does stay. I know the world is opened up, and yeah. But let's talk about Wine Over Oceans. So Wine Over
Yes.
Oceans, like how it works is you can buy a 12-pack box, right? So you can buy a 12-pack box. We ship that box to you. So we ship all 12 wines from you, the South African wines, the American wines, in one box. So all you pay is shipping for the most part for one box of wine. You get that box of wine, and then you hop on the call anytime during the weekend. Friday night, we're going to have a cheesemonger from South Africa talk about cheeses, the different types of cheeses, and then I'll be there to show you how to pair which cheeses with which wines. And then on Saturday, we have game night, which I'm super excited about. So some of my favorite sommelier friends, I'll call them wine-mazing friends, they are going to hop on the call, and we're going to play some fun games, and we'll have some prizes, and there'll be wine-related games, so they're going to be super fun. And then on Sunday is the finale event. So on Sunday, that's when we have our Wine Over Oceans Festival. And that's when we have the 12 different winemakers online. They'll each have an opportunity to talk about their wines, their wine life, how they got involved in wine. And then you'll get to pick one of their wines from the case and actually taste the wines as they're talking, which is pretty awesome. And then like just have conversations. If you have conversations like, what does the label mean? Why do you have this on the label? You have that time to like answer those questions, which is pretty amazing. It's not every day that you get to talk to people who own wine brands or who are winemakers, like face to face, one on one, and just ask them anything. So that's my favorite part of Wine Over Oceans. Let's see, Shay, do you have any questions or do you have anything to add about Wine Over Oceans?
No, I'm excited about it because I mean, you were saying like it's not every day you get to talk to the brand owner or winemaker. It's not every day you get to have these winemakers on the same platform as well. And
Yeah.
so I think sometimes for us, I'm always intrigued too, and I have questions, but I'll save mine so that for anyone else who has questions, they get to ask. But it's just so much fun, just having the opportunity to share that platform and learn about different winemaking styles and some of the things that these winemakers might experience that I can learn from. I think it's a real treat. So I'm stoked, excited, glad to be invited back for the second time, and look forward to when we do get to do this in person.
And I do love that we have the South African perspective, and then we have the United States perspective. So it'll be really cool to talk to one of the winemakers is wine brand owners is Berin from Tessa Larsdale, and she makes wine in a cool climate region in South Africa. So it'll be cool to hear about her climate and then to hear about the climate of Red Mountain, you know what I mean? And they're both like, you know, near the ocean, but they're different, you know, different climates. So I'm super excited about that. Hold on for a second. So I'm going to go to Facebook and see. I think we have some questions. Hi, Monica. Thanks for watching. Hi, George. Thanks for watching. Who else do we have? We have Desiree. Hi, Desiree. It's good to see you. Um, how is the rosé? Dry. So she wants to know how your rosé is, Shay. Can you answer that for
Well, let me try it first so I can
I'm
just
like,
kidding. So it is, you know, it's to answer your question, it's a dry rosé. It's very fruit driven though. So you do get it's a rosé of Merlot. I should start by saying that. Rosé of Merlot, dry, lots of red fruit like strawberry and rhubarb. You know, you get off it just a tad bit of citrus, not a whole lot. I think that's kind of on the kind of like on the back of this wine. It definitely doesn't overshadow some of the other plush red fruits in this wine. And the color of it's really interesting because I pressed right off and I still get color from the skin. So I think that's kind of fun. You know, it's got some nice, you know, it's not like I didn't have to do any skin to juice contact to get this. And so I thought that was kind of fun.
But that's from, did you say that was from Syrah?
It's from Merlot.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Rosé Merlot. Yeah, I know. From a Syrah, I would expect it to be deeper color. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all. But this I just thought was beautiful. You know, when I make this rosé, I'm not looking for, you know, my priority is really like making a rosé that's gonna be like fruity, just very fruit driven, because I know I'm gonna make it dry, but I really try and make sure I get good flavor characteristics in it. And then the color is kind of secondary for me. So I'm not, I just kind of get what I get when it comes to the color, is what I'm trying to say.
No, no, and I love that because I would have definitely thought that okay, because it's darker, it had a little bit more skin contact, so it might be
Yeah,
like tannins. But you said you
yeah,
just pressed it right off, so I'm sure that that is
yeah,
definitely juicy and refreshing. All right,
yeah.
Desiree, I hope that answers your question. If you have a follow-up question, just put it in the chat and I'll be sure to ask Shay, or just buy a ticket to the festival and then come ask yourself at the festival.
There
Um,
you go.
and hi, Justin. Hi, Andre. Thanks for watching. And then we have another question, and this question is directed towards me from Desiree again. And she wants to know if you buy the wine package, do you have to buy a ticket to the 3-day festival? So first of all, the wine package is actually $400 plus tax plus shipping. So it's going to be about maybe 460 or so. Um, and and yeah, and it's $460 tax and shipping, and that's an estimate. And that's because you get 12 different wine brands, 12 different premium, high quality. These are not mass produced wines. These are not wines that you're going to find in the grocery stores. These come from boutique wine farms with people who are actually like um, gosh, I don't want to say caring, because just because it's not boutique doesn't mean that they don't care, but who put a little extra special love into it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you went to a big steakhouse, or if you went to like, you know, your mom's house for dinner, you know she's going to put that extra love into it. So it's $400 for the case plus tax plus shipping, and that's 12 bottles of wine. And you know what? I've had customers like drink all that wine in one weekend. I had other customers like parcel that wine out over like an entire year, entire few weeks. I actually teach a wine tasting class online. It's a deductive, well, I have a club. It's a deductive wine tasting club. And I had a customer who was like, if we tasted that particular varietal, she'd be like, let me go to my wine over LA kit and get that varietal. So, I mean, there's so many different ways people have gifted, you know, some of the wines for Christmas presents. Um, yeah, so there's so many different ways you can use the kit, and you don't have to feel like you have to drink all the wine in that one weekend. Not unless you have a core of it. If you have a core of it, that would be perfect. As a matter of fact,
For a party.
Oh, you said our party.
For our party.
Our party. The world is open back up. Just invite some of your friends over and you guys can get in that kit. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. I got really good feedback from the kit last time. And I try to make sure that I have a fair amount of reds, a fair amount of whites, a couple sparklings, a couple rosés in there. So it's a really, really dope kit. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Desiree. And she said, yes, that answers her question about the dry rosé. Hey, Monica. Monica said that all my events are so fun, and I love Monica because she's been a customer of mine, oh, for such a long time. It's getting to be so to the point where I don't even want to tell how old because how long because then it tells how old I am. But Monica's a great customer. I've been in business for 10 years, and I think I found her on the second year. So um, can't wait to see you again, Monica. And Monica told me we were just talking before the call, and she said that you guys know each other. You guys are in the same group, Stilettos and Stocks or something like that.
Which one?
Stilettos and Stocks or Stilettos and something.
Well, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, maybe it was somebody else. Maybe she got you mixed up with another winemaker. Maybe it was Paula.
Okay, well, I like the name of that. Stilettos and Stock. Sounds financial.
What's the
Sounds
name
like
of it? It is. It's like, Monica's all about the money. Her Instagram name is Mrs. Purse Strings. But
oh, got it. Okay.
tell us the name of that.
Go ahead, Monica.
Which wines
All
from
right.
Frigette Winery? When you say which wines from Frigette Winery are we gonna pour at the festival? Oh, it was Paula. Yeah, it was Paula. Yeah, and you know what? That
Oh, Paula's dope. Yeah. Harrell. Yeah, Paula's dope. She's
you guys both give me the same
really-
energy. I was so confused with the time. I actually text her because I thought it was going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I was running late for a 4 p.m. call. And I text Paula. I was like, Paula, I need 5 more minutes. I'm still on the call. And then I was like, gosh, it's not Paula. I went back to my
Yeah,
message.
I met her at the Celebration of Black Women in Wine a few years ago.
Was that
And
the
I had
boat in Miami, or which one was that?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was. And I had the opportunity to have dinner with her the night before with the other ladies, and she's just a hoot. So
Yeah.
yeah, I adore her, and I think she's a lot of fun. And she had some beautiful wines.
And she has beautiful wine. She has a beautiful spirit, and she's also just one of those people like you and her, and Theo from Theopolis Wines. There are certain people in the industry I call and I ask for things, and it's always like, "Yes, Tuanni, what do you need? No problem." You don't know how good that feels because I'm like 10,000 miles away, and so like it's like this sisterhood, which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm super proud to be a part of the sisterhood with you guys.
Oh,
Women in wine.
it's good stuff. It's good. It's good to have that, right? The wine tribe, the wine sisterhood. It's all
The
good.
wine sister tribe. Yes, I love it. And we're not going to forget about the brothers because the brothers are just as nice, but it's just
Of
something
course.
when you
Of
have
course.
a bond between women, helping women out. So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so Shay, which wine are you going to pour for the festival?
So now remember, when I gave you a choice, I was like, so what do we think? We think rosé, we think Syrah, like what's happening here? And so rosé was the pick. And I love that I mean, it's just so it's very timely. I enjoy rosés year round. I just think they're versatile, that um rosés actually make me rethink dinner, because usually I used to think of dinner like, okay, I'm gonna have something red, so let me have something that will pair with that. And then rosés knock me off my feet with the types of dishes and that they will pair with. So I'm excited to have this wine feature. The neat thing about having it as a part of this event is that I just cannot make enough of this rosé, and so I made 4 pallets of it, and a pallet is 56 cases. So I had 4 pallets of it, and I'm down to almost my last half pallet.
Oh,
And I just released this wine. Yeah, I just released it in May. So it's a warm summer, and folks are really loving it. This is the first time I've made it bone dry. I usually make it with a little bit of residual sugar, so it has some sweetness to it. And I just kind of changed the style of it with this vintage. I'm looking for something that has that is dry, that still showcases the fruits. I wanted something that was a little lighter on the palate. The rosé that I made the vintage before this felt a little heavier on the palate, and so I really nailed down the style. And so I'm very proud to get the opportunity to share this with the guests for this event.
And I like that too. And I like the fact that you made it even drier than before, because I tell people all the time, like, you know what, if it's a hot summer day and I'm at a barbecue, or, they put a steak on the grill, like a good rosé can hold its weight against a steak. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a red wine. And then, you know what, sometimes you just don't want a white wine, but a nice rosé will go really well with the steak. So
Yeah, and that's what I mean, where I think that sometimes we sleep on rosé. Like we really, it's kind of like it's only reserved for like something that's like a fruit salad or,
yeah,
and I love it. I mean, and to your point, like you can have it, in dinner time, like in the climate that we're in right now, being outside. I love having our nights. We have this diurnal shift, and so it cools down at nighttime. And but it's still warm. Don't get me wrong. So I do enjoy getting to have dinner outside with my family, and at that point, I want to have a rosé that I can stick in a bucket of ice and have something that's cooler and something that's going to pair with whatever I'm having.
nice. I'm super excited. I'm super excited for you guys to taste this rosé. And gosh, thank you so much for sharing the little bit that you have with us. Oh my
Of course.
goodness. But that means that too, if you like the rosé, right after the festival, I suggest you taste that rosé, and you buy the rosé before it sells out completely. So the race will be on for that rosé. Just keep that in mind when you get it. If you love it, you're gonna have to order a case or two because it's gonna be gone soon. Wow. Okay. So, do you guys in the Facebook world, Facebook land, do you guys have any more questions for me, or do you have any more questions for Shay? What I love about this world is connecting people too. So Desiree and Monica, they look like they're about to connect and get in this stilettos and stocks. Wait, let me see.
I love it. I'm going to be looking that up seriously.
Stocks and stilettos. That's what it's called. And okay, so we answered your question, Monica. It's going to be the rosé. Do you have any other questions? All right. So, okay, well, thank you. So, like, thank you guys all for watching. Shay, do you have any questions? Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I'm stoked. I mean, I'm super excited to have this opportunity to connect with other winemakers, to connect with the just fans of these brands, and and I'm on at like 11 a.m. on the Sunday of the events, and so I'm just like, that's a nice time for like a brunch rosé, so I'll probably have something that will pair with it, and then I'll try out as we're chatting.
And that's the perfect thing too. I think that you're gonna have like maybe a little bit of an advantage because it's gonna be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. A lot of people are gonna pop open that rosé. And I did it so early just because it's South Africa and it's the United States, and so 11 a.m. is
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be 8 o'clock here. 8 o'clock or 9
yeah.
o'clock. Gonna make it 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock here. So I just figured that people who want to participate from South Africa, I'm not gonna do them wrong and make it too late. Yeah.
Fantastic,
Plus, I feel like you can have
fantastic.
the rest of your day to enjoy with your family. You join the festival. We'll be on the call for about 2 hours, maybe a little bit over 2 hours if we have questions and if you want to stick around. But yeah, so basically, it's just going to be a 2 hour call, and it's going to be interactive. It's going to be so fun. And that's going to be on Sunday, July 25th. Wine Over Oceans. If you have not gotten your ticket, please go to zuriwine.com. ZURIWINE, zuriwine.com. I put the link in the chat. Go to zuriwine.com and buy your tickets for the festival. Thank you so
Oh,
much, Shay.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. I love it. I love it, and I'll see you at the festival.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.